Apparently, we need the mic. Hello? Hello. Yeah. Okay. So again, thank you for joining us in today's Open IL session. So as part of our initiatives to promote information literacy in the campus, we hold this Open IL sessions entitled Did I Plagiarize? How to Avoid Falling Prey to Academic Dishonesty. So in this session, you will learn ways on how to use information ethically, avoiding plagiarism, as well as to understand how to maximize the use of Turnitin for your scholarly needs. So again, good morning. My name is April. I'm a reference librarian and I'm the subject librarian for SSH. And I will be moderating this event. And for this session, we have two speakers. So our first speaker is Mr. Jeffrey Carney, instructor from Writing Center, and it will be followed by Mr. Dritan Manaj, from account manager from Turnitin, who will be doing this session online. So mind you that this session is in hybrid mode. So we're currently live streaming it on our YouTube channel. And for this session, it aims to be to help the students to understand how to use information ethically, learn strategies on how to avoid plagiarism, get started with Turnitin functionalities, learn how to maximize Turnitin for your scholarly needs, and learn where to find help. So, and again, if you have questions, feel free to ask our speakers afterwards. And I hope that you can join us on a simple activity after this session. So without any further ado, I will be turning over the stage to Mr. Jeffrey Carney. Jeffrey has been a member of the Writing Center program since 2019. He came to NU with 35 years of experience as a writing instructor in the United States. At Snow College in the state of Utah, he literally wrote the policy regarding academic misconduct. He has been a member of disciplinary committee for the School of Sciences and Humanities for 7 years. Friends, Mr. Jeffrey Carney.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. I will need to, oh, can you do it for me? Okay, wonderful. So I am not actually going to be giving you tips on writing successful paraphrase today. I give a much longer presentation on that topic at the beginning of every semester. The Writing Center does conferences, workshops, and so I normally take 50 minutes to an hour to provide those skills. But today I want to give you a more conceptual overview of the way we think about plagiarism, both as instructors and in disciplinary committee meetings when students are appealing accusations of plagiarism. And this is really my theme here. There's a really good chance that you're asking the wrong question or questions when you're wondering about plagiarism and ways to avoid it. Let me see. Okay, my slides aren't working. It was working. No. Okay, very good. Thank you. All right, so first let's try to define plagiarism, and we'll do it the way the university does it. We'll just ask the student code of conduct. So plagiarism is intentionally or carelessly presenting the work of another as one's own. That seems pretty obvious. I want to really highlight this word carelessly. A lot of students think that it's okay if they didn't intend to commit plagiarism, that somehow their instructors should be forgiving. And there is room for that when we decide what the penalty will be. But it is nevertheless misconduct if you carelessly plagiarize, because you should be responsible enough to avoid that. Plagiarism includes submitting an assignment purporting to be the student's work, your work, which has wholly or in part been created by another person. And the phrase I want to highlight here is in part. It can be a very small amount of plagiarism that is going to potentially get you into trouble. I often hear students say, well, it was one sentence. My essay is 10 pages long, and you're concerned about one sentence. But it's more the breach of trust that we are concerned with than the actual amount. Plagiarism includes the presentation of the work, ideas, representations, or words of another person without customary and proper acknowledgement of the sources. So what do we mean by the customary and proper acknowledgement? Citations. And if you're using the exact words of somebody, that's going to mean quotation marks. Generally, we don't quote a lot in academic writing. So you're going to be summarizing and paraphrasing a lot more. Plagiarism occurs when a person directly copies one or more sentences of another person's written work without proper citation. Generally, instructors and the disciplinary committee do not use that one sentence as a literal rule. If it's a significant part of a sentence, we're likely to consider that plagiarism. Changing words but copying the sentence structure of a source without giving credit to the original source. This is where a lot of students get tangled up when they write paraphrase. And a lot of what I'm going to be talking about for the next few minutes addresses this. Closely paraphrasing one or more paragraphs without acknowledgement of the source. This means citations. You need to be adding lots of citations. In my experience, students are reluctant to use enough citations. I think they think that it's kind of ugly on the page to have lots of footnotes and brackets with names and things in there. Your professors don't see it that way. We read academic articles all the time. They're full of citations. We know how to read around it as if they're invisible. It's a magic power we have. Why is plagiarism so bad? Well, your sources worked hard and they deserve credit for their ideas and their words. If you're plagiarizing, that means you're thinking too closely about the words instead of the ideas, and you didn't learn what you were expected to learn from the experience. Perhaps the biggest problem of all, you diminish the value of a Nazarbayev University degree. There are universities out there that are known for not paying attention to plagiarism, and their graduates just don't get the opportunities that students from other universities do. Penalties, oh gosh. At NU, the minimum penalty for plagiarism is failure of the assignment. Not every instructor adheres to that, particularly in early classes like your rhetoric and composition class, where you're learning about these things, but it is what the code of conduct requires. Failure of the class, if the plagiarism is significant, or if it's a repeated case. You can lose your stipend. If you repeat misconduct, you can get dismissed from the university. I'm going to create an analogy here to hopefully give you a visual sense of what we think when we see plagiarism. So this is a representation of some famous painting by a fellow named Pete Mondrian. You might be familiar with this style of work. And I just want to change this a little bit at a time and have you start asking yourself, at what point does this painting stop being the work of Pete Mondrian? At what point do you think I should be able to take credit for this and say, this is my painting? Now? Did you even notice the change? Ooh, up in the corner there? Uh-huh. Maybe not. It's still Mondrian's painting, right? Ooh, now it's mine. Surely it's mine. No? Now? I don't think so. Now? Probably not. No. I hope you're saying no. No. Gosh, I've changed a lot of these colors. Come on. Ooh, and one down here, that was all white before. You see how it's gray now? Surely I can put my name up here now, right? Do you think so? No, I don't think so either. And yet, this is the kind of thought process that a lot of students are going through when they're writing a paraphrase. They're starting off with original sentences, and their first thought when they get the idea of paraphrase in their mind is synonyms. I'm going to take out a word and I'm going to replace it with a synonym. And maybe one word, that's not enough. Maybe 2 words, maybe 3 words. At some point, the student is sure that the sentence is going to transform into their work and not be the original author's work anymore. And what I mean to suggest here is that it's really not that simple. So let's push ahead with this concept. Oh, you can see how really similar they are. So let's push ahead. What do you think? So do you think at this point we can start saying that's original in some way? Not really? How about we say it's original but influenced by Pete Mondrian? What if we're honest about that? Some of us were not entirely sure. I don't know if there's an exact answer. All I know is that this young woman is selling this on the internet. Ooh, what do you think? Famous set of dresses designed, you can't see it there, Yves Saint Laurent, famous fashion designer. And yes, he acknowledged the work of Pete Mondrian when he created these. At this point, are you starting to get the sense that as long as we're acknowledging Pete Mondrian, that there is an original element to this design, that Yves Saint Laurent is really doing something different, personalizing it, making an interpretation of the other who still deserves credit. Nevertheless, this is Yves Saint Laurent's work. This person designed a chair. That's pretty cool. And yes, acknowledge the influence of Pete Mondrian, but said, this is my chair. And people agree, yeah, this is your chair. This person designed an office. And it's so subtle in ways that if you might just really think this is this person's original design, but you can see the influence. And you're going to like this one. Someone literally built a house inspired by the work of Pete Mondrian. And let's just bounce back and forth. You can clearly see how these are related. But I hope you'll also agree that there is really something very original about this particular design. Should Vasily say, yeah, I was influenced by Pete Mondrian? Of course he should. But I think he should be able to take credit for a pretty interesting house as well. And that's the concept that I want to give you to have you come away with today, is that we need to be really transforming what we read, understanding not individual squares, but the big concept, processing the big concept in this wonderful creative engine that you have. So let's look at an example of some actual student plagiarism. This is a section of the Turnitin report that I originally saw. And, you know, there's a word here and there's a word there and a word there. And a lot of students would look at this and think, well, surely enough has been changed from the original. Well, if you're not sure, it's the pink stuff matches something in the original text. And probably you look at that phrase and you think, well, that's just too long. There's not enough words that have been substituted there. No, I see that and I instantly recognize that as plagiarism. When I follow through on a thing like this, not all instructors do this, but if I'm going to potentially fail a student in a class, I want to make sure I've got really good evidence. So this is the original text. There's a reference, so you don't think I'm plagiarizing. And here is that same student's text. You can see them side by side. Let's look at the matching phrases. Viewing images and updates, seeing photographs and updates. That selectively portray others positively, that selectively represent people favorably. I think you might be starting to get a sense of what's going on here. The student has taken out a few words and replaced them with other words. And you can see how that goes along. Now, some of these words we don't want to change. You can't change social media. It is what it is, and that's fine. Everybody understands that. But there's no reason why you should keep a word like underestimate. There are many other words for that idea. Oh, the student has decided we should change actually to genuinely, and negative to unpleasant. But hopefully my overview with the painting is giving you the idea that maybe this is not quite enough. And you're absolutely right. You know, I see the word lead and leading. Yeah, that's really the same. Turnitin is not going to catch that kind of thing. Turnitin is also not going to catch, we had positive and negative, it gets changed to negative and positive. Turnitin doesn't catch a thing like that. But you know what? It really doesn't matter. Let's be fair to the student and not highlight any more of the words that did not get transferred in any way to this one. Here in blue, I hope you can see that well. I have highlighted the words that were changed from the original, and everything else left the same. Let's look at a quick scorecard. The student changed 35% of the words, and 65% of them were copied. And you know what? I don't care about those numbers at all. I really don't. Do you see what the bigger problem is? What do you think? Pardon me? Oh, I've simply removed the citation to make this easy to read. Yeah. The structure, right? Go back to the code of conduct. If the grammatical structure remains the same, it doesn't matter how many words you have changed. And that was what you were perceiving when we looked at the Pete Mondrian painting. And I changed yellow to blue and orange to brown. And intuitively, you knew that wasn't enough. What you kept seeing was the original structure. And if we leave that the same, yeah, it's still plagiarism. 94% copied structure. I invented that number, but that's sort of my guess on what's happening here. So some quick guidelines, very, very simple. Number one, understand the ideas thoroughly. You should be able to tell your friend about the ideas that you're working with without referring to the text. Summarize what you understand, not the words on the page. Get away from the page as quickly as you can. Paraphrase infrequently. I know that sounds counterintuitive. Of course, you're going to want to verify that you're getting your facts straight. But for the most part, be working with the ideas as you understand them. If you can't do that, then you haven't accomplished what your instructors wanted you to accomplish, which was to understand the ideas. And when you must paraphrase, attend to the structure as much as the words. Cite early and often. If I had more time, I would talk about citations more. And that is it for me. Thank you very much.
Okay. Can we have a round of applause to our for our speaker for today? Yeah. So I know that you have some questions already, so just keep them at this point. But we will have to go with our next speaker. Let me just okay. Okay, we should open. Is it okay? Dritan, can you hear me? Yep.
Yes, I can hear
All
you,
right.
April. Hi.
Okay, I'll just try to give a very simple introduction of Dritan Manaj. He is an
Please.
account manager for Turnitin with a hybrid role in the company and with focus on grade scope as a solution for academic assessments platform. He is in charge of ensuring academic integrity, empowering educators, and helping educational institutions to digitize the learning environment. So at this point, I will be turning over the virtual stage to Dritan for his presentation. Hello, Dritan.
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you, April. Thank you for the introduction. Hello, greetings, everybody. Do I share my screen to share my presentation, April? Or do you have it? So I'm going to share my screen real quick. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
April? Oh, okay. All right, so we should, let me just hide this real quick. Okay. So welcome everybody to this Turnitin session with together with Nazarbayev University. Thank you for having me. We will talk today about sustaining educational values through academic integrity standards and how to foster culture of honesty and fairness at your institution. My name is Dritan Manai. I'm, as April said, I'm an account manager at Turnitin. My role is I work with institutions to safeguard their institution from potential plagiarism and assessment solution. I'm also responsible for Nazarbayev University account as a dedicated account manager. So, as we reflect on the past couple of years, we have learned a lot. Teaching in a classroom is not the same as teaching online. Equally, being a student in a classroom is not the same as being a student online. For both instructors and students, new tactics, delivering assignments, providing timely feedback, and assessing performance have had to change. Education in 2020, 2021 didn't look like this picture, that's for sure. So one thing the pandemic introduced was physical space between teachers and students, and between students themselves. There was no longer that friend in the next seat that you could clarify in the instructor's request or remind of an upcoming due date. So in many ways, technology has stepped in to support teacher to student and student to student interaction. So technology solutions are a great success for many instructors and plan to continue to use them going forward. For example, students loved tools like anonymous polls or chat boxes running in real time during a lecture and get answers or offer insight in low-stake environment. It's an easy, real-time, and most importantly, anonymous feedback tool that can provide students with the support they're looking for at the moment. Being physically distant during instruction has introduced an anonymity in a way that we haven't had faced it before. In some respects, like that example of anonymity provides a safe and easy way to get real-time answers. But when the students encounter a roadblock, it could be an overwhelming stress, language barrier, simply not understanding what to do. And there isn't a safe and easy way to proceed. And anonymity can make it easier to stumble into academic misconduct. Researchers are still examining the impact of remote learning, all areas of the student's experience, including academic integrity. But anecdotally, many instructors have noticed that an uptick in plagiarizing and integrity issues over the past months. Perhaps you are noticing the same thing. It is important to emphasize that most students do not intend to cheat or are often unaware of what they're doing. It's most likely that they are looking to the internet or friends or even family for help. Honestly, we all do the same. How many times have we Googled a question that we want an answer to? I think we can all agree that the pandemic accelerated a large amount of change within a very short period of time. With the initial rush to move the courses and instructions being 100% online, adapting on how actually to deliver valuable instruction and engage with students during that time. And now, as the world begins to open back up, there are possibly more questions than before. Is it back to classrooms, or has remote learning caved the space for itself with all instruction continue to be offered in a remote or at least blended learning environment? Unfortunately, if you ask the question, the internet user answer, tremendously simple to copy from a direct popular website such as Wikipedia, paste it directly into assignment. Or students could be a little more advanced and paste it into a text spinner or paraphrasing engines to modify, in the hopes of it quote unquote passing a plagiarism checker. Those are just few ways of plagiarizing, and those are just few ways of plagiarism that has emerged over the years, and now it will continue to do so. As you can see, over the time, technology and the internet has made it a lot easier for the types of plagiarism such as collusion, contract cheating, essay mills, and even code plagiarism that has emerged. As these methods continue to become more and more sophisticated, it's no longer enough to just check for text similarity. At Turnitin, our goal is to continue to anticipate how academic misconduct will evolve and to proceed tools for instructors, administrators, and students to use to keep integrity at the heart of what they do. One of the largest areas of focus for us is to help close the gaps between instructors and students, providing opportunities to provide a quality feedback. And how important is that? Well, that is quite with the physical. It's quite important to use technology to fill in the gap. So feedback should be accurate, giving the student the right guidance. It should be timely. It should be relevant to provide the most influence as the student is practicing the skill. It should be actionable to help students know what they should do to improve. It should be accessible, meaning they understand the guidance and how clearly see how to use it. Providing students with many touch points, particularly while learning a skill, will help close the physical gaps we are experiencing in a remote and blended learning environment and keep students engaged and communicating with their instructors. Douglas Reeves, an expert in education leadership, reinforces the importance of accurate, timely, and specific feedback is being essential in providing one of the greatest influences of student achievement. Any institution would like to help students meet the learning objective, should put more emphasis on how to improve the quality and perhaps the quantity of feedback students and that the students receive on their assessments. So yes, ideally instructors would be able to provide comprehensive feedback for every one of their students, but there are so many hours in a day, a limit of amount of time that instructor can spend on each assignment per student. And in reality, we must acknowledge providing feedback needs to be scaled so they can be done easily, fair, unbiased, and in consistent way. This is where technology can help us tremendously. And we'll look at some examples later on in this presentation. But first, let's go back to our students who are looking for answers with their questions from the internet, families and friends, and how can institution help? How can the institution help to continue to provide support and provide resources to the students to make academic integrity a safe and easy road to take? For many of us, just started to think about academic integrity because it's a requirement that we need to address. Others may have a strong history of promoting academicity across campus. No matter what the mandate is at your institution, the staff, resources, and policy will inevitably vary. But I have some resources to help you foster the culture of academic integrity, no matter what the current situation may be. Most of our customers have shared with us what they have designated department with staff and resources, sometimes perhaps just a small one. There are other few individuals that are very passionate about integrity and willing to champion it in a way that best suit their institution. So connecting with each other to learn how you are addressing academic integrity is a prime benefit of events like this. No matter your resources or approach, there are a few guiding principles that we believe can help develop a culture of academic integrity. First, most important thing is that as instructors and administrators, we are here to help students. We want them to engage with positive and helpful experience that promote academic integrity, not punish them when they stumble. Creating an open and a positive dialogue is the best and most important way to start. Second, establish some commonality. It will be different from institution to institution, but insofar we are able to have the same set of standards, values, terminology, outcomes across your institution. Truly foster a culture of integrity and support across the board. For more students to understand what is expected for them at an institution out in the world, it's easier to be, it will be for them instill that lesson at the core of their education. And finally, provide a safe and easy path for them to learn. Technology is always evolving constantly. We can use it for good and give students those safe places to practice, as well as identify early how and where to intervene to help students succeed. One of the best ways to begin to build a culture of integrity is by modeling the behavior you expect. Embrace fair and inclusive assignments on all your classrooms. Be mindful of the message you're sending when you're developing course materials. Reinforce the specific skills you are teaching in daily assignments. Promote and practice proper citations, moving beyond attribution only. Dig into the research skills and understand where paraphrasing stops and plagiarism begins. Be transparent in your practices to build an environment of trust, supports with your students. In remote or blended environments, it's more important than ever to teach by example as much as possible. So what does modeling academic integrity look like? The easy way is to show your work. Include attributions on your presentation and images you use during instructions. Talk with your students on how they should practice integrity skills. Provide explicit instruction on how to summarize, paraphrase, and cite sources. Make it real by emphasizing your instructions with real world examples. For all those examples, a uniform approach across every department on campus can streamline and clarify the procedures and expectation a student might have. The academic integrity standards for any course lectures would be the same. Modeling academic integrity does not look like top-down initiatives that alienate the student experience or refusing to acknowledge what a proactive approach in a formative space will create and challenge an environment for students. We want students to feel engaged and supported, not caught out or punished. With your students in focus on working together, encourage a collaborative, ongoing conversation, keep them engaged as their instructors rather than the internet. Revisit skills areas with new assignments to remind and reinforce the skills that need to be used and shown. Understand how students can be involved in integrity issues. How can they commit to support integrity without snitching? Do you have mechanisms such as contracts or honor codes that students uphold? And how can students be involved in reviewing honor code violations? In many ways as possible, make students your partner in developing a culture of integrity at your institutions. Establishing that culture of academic integrity relies on consistency, openness across the institution. Conversation about how to promote integrity should include administrators, educators, parents, and students. Together can create a shared understanding, shared values, and common vocabulary. How to implement, communicate in an effective way. With foundations like this in place, making sure that students are informed, involved, is really important. Every classroom can be a safe space to communicate, practice skills, talk openly about how to maintain integrity and academic success. We have few resources that you can use to guide your institutions through each of these areas, including a guide on how to develop an honor code, implement, maintain it, and practice exercise designed to do with students. And as you develop this culture of academic integrity, how will you know if you're succeeding? If we look at the scale from doing cursory similarity checking on the left, on focusing on formative feedback, help reinforce integrity with students, for actively addressing and resourcing academic integrity programs, we might begin to hear a change in the tone of comments they hear from instructors. From simple access questions it's like similarity checking part of your VLE. Are we identifying student pollutions? Do we need to help teaching students how to choose credible sources? If you start hearing, we should add this to our code of conduct or help us identify repeat offenders. How you know you have done it? And I will tell you that all of these direct quotes that I've heard from customers as I join calls to talk to customers about their needs and how they're using Turnitin today, where they like to see, what they'd like to see more happen. I've heard them say each of these things. Developing a culture of integrity almost happens naturally. The more your students and instructors make integrity a part of the normal activity, the more quickly and easily they're ready to adopt a little more. So using Turnitin solution to foster the original work, the final area is developing a culture of academic integrity, is to look at tools, technologies available that can help you create those safe spaces for fostering integrity and giving feedback and communication. Turnitin Similarity and Feedback Studio are both solutions which we have in our portfolio, and they can support your journey into advancing academic integrity within your institutions. We at Turnitin, we have an unparalleled collection of content. And I can show you here that we have 1.5 billion student papers worldwide, 91 billion web pages, and 82 million of published works. And to ensure the most comprehensive collection of content for similarity checking and plagiarism deterrence. The breadth and the depth of Turnitin content databases provides an unparalleled repository and archived web content. In every category, Turnitin content database have been developed to provide the coverage that customers need to have a reliable and comprehensive similarity checking every time. There are some global leaders in academic integrity and statistics. 20 top universities in Europe use Turnitin. 60% of students in US and colleges, university use Turnitin. 94% of universities in Australia and New Zealand use Turnitin. These are some words from our customers. Douglas Reeves, an expert in educational leadership, reinforces the importance of accurate, timely, and specific feedback being essential in providing one of the greatest influences on students' achievement. Any institution that would like to help students meet their learning objectives should put more emphasis on how to improve the quality and perhaps the quantity of feedback students receive on their assessments. So as your needs change and grow, Turnitin can grow with you. Over time, we have developed these products offering to best suit customer needs and to access their methods. Every institution is unique in what they're addressing for academic integrity. Some are fulfilling university or government mandates that are looking to do similarity checking. For the organization, either originality check or similarity are a great way to know that you are comparing student submissions and get the largest repository of student submissions, internet and professional content. Turnitin Similarity, as well as Turnitin Originality is in the gray area, are optimized to be integrated with a virtual learning environment, LMS, whereas Originality check in those white area can be integrated or offers a classroom workflow that can be used directly. Turnitin Feedback Studio builds on the similarity checking features that provides feedback and grading tools, which include grammar checking, flexible grading rubrics, and easy to use comments, feedback tools. For institutions that want to go further and understand and mitigate those risks that come from emerging misconduct trends like contract cheating, Turnitin Feedback Studio and Originality offer an advanced tool and dashboards to help administrators engage with the students early. Here we see.
Ritan?
Yes.
Yep. Yeah. Can you face your presentation because we don't have much time?
Yeah, I'm almost done.
All right.
Yeah, I'm done. I'm sorry. Yeah, I took a little bit too long, but I'm almost done. So here, this is a comprehensive plagiarism detection that Similarity offers. And the Feedback Studio, that's actually an actual solution in Nazarbayev University. And we also have Turnitin. Turnitin Educators Network is one of the biggest you can join under this link, the global network for educators. Thank you for your attention. I'm done.
All right. Thank you.
Sorry for taking. Sorry for taking so long, April.
Before we further move forward, do we have any questions for Dritan and for our speaker here, Mr. Jeffrey? Any questions? questions? Yeah, this is your time to ask questions. Or maybe if you have, if you don't have questions for now, maybe you can send us send us via email, and then we will forward it to them. But again, we have our speakers here, so that we can probably ask questions now. There's one question. Yep.
Example you're given. Actually, I took 150 writing course, and as you said, I failed one time because I plagiarized without. I actually paraphrased it, but structure was same, and I didn't give a proper citation. So my question is, why we don't have some programs or makeup tasks to prevent this kind of situations? So not actually to give answer like you plagiarized and that's not okay, but instead give some instructions on how to do not do this and tasks. So this kind of situation does not occur after. Like I didn't know about the structure case until now, and it's really frustrating.
Yeah, I understand. My experience is that different instructors have different approaches to going over paraphrase. I have several exercises at the beginning of the semester, weeks 1 or 2, that are designed to familiarize students with what's an adequate paraphrase and what's not. But I think that every instructor doesn't, and maybe that's a weakness in our program that should be addressed. We also have an awful lot of material that needs to be covered in that class. You might remember that things move very, very quickly in the first 7 weeks. So in some cases, it might just be that the instructor feels that there are other things that should be tended to first.
Thank you for
May
that.
I, may,
So
may
I
I
think
just add,
the writing center
April,
would probably.
April, may I just add something to that?
Yeah, Dilitan.
Yes, I want to, because this happens a lot. This is called accidental plagiarism, and maybe Jeffrey knows this a lot more than me. But we have we have introduced this year a tool in Nazarbayev University campus that comes as a feature with the Turnitin subscription with Feedback Studio, and it's called Draft Coach, which you can use it in an online environment with your Google account. What Draft Coach does, maybe you can ask the office there, is helps you check up to 3 times and unlimited checks of grammars and citations your paper before submitted before submitting your work at Turnitin Feedback Studio, so where your teachers can see it and give you feedback and maybe fail you because of that accidental plagiarism, which can happen quite more than you think. You're not the only one. I've heard it across, and that's why we developed Draft Coach, which is a tool that is available at your university, and you can use that before submitting your work officially at Turnitin Feedback Studio for your you have 3 tries of checking for plagiarism for every document and unlimited number of citations and grammar checking. So that's something you should look into before submitting your work, definitely.
Yeah. Thank you for that, Dritan. Yeah, we have that kind of I think Turnitin have this kind of functionality, but I also think that that's a good point. And then the writing center would probably consider doing something with their program. Do you have another question?
Thank you for this session. I have a question that you said that plagiarism is when you show somebody's ideas as your own, but also I know that there are some cases when you have your own article with just you as an author, but you cannot write those words from there to your dissertation. It will be like you're plagiarizing yourself, yes?
I'm not sure I understand the question. Try that again.
For example, you have your own article and you're writing uh, but you cannot take that, for example, body part from your article to your dissertation,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
even if it's your own idea and you are just one author in your
Yeah.
article and in your dissertation.
Right. That really depends on your dissertation advisor and the standards within the program and the university. It is possible.
USA, I saw that it's okay. Like,
Well, at the very least, you must provide a citation
okay,
to the original work.
okay, thank you.
I have one question. I'm not sure if I have it. Do we have an institutional like mandate, like institutional percentage on plagiarism or similarity index for the university? Like, is it 10% is acceptable or?
Oh, there is no number. The similarity score on Turnitin is often very misleading. It can have a lot of false positives, and it can also miss things. So very commonly, yeah, my students they all use the APA style. So everybody's title page looks like everybody else's title page. A lot of those words are going to be the same. So that's going to contribute to the similarity score. Obviously, you shouldn't get punished for that. Very often you'll have direct quotations that are formatted incorrectly, and Turnitin doesn't recognize it as a quotation. So boom, up goes your similarity score, and you really didn't do anything wrong. Maybe just used the wrong character or forgot a closing quotation mark, something like that. So I personally only use the score as a guideline. I think to myself, ooh, that I better take a look at that. But that doesn't mean that you're automatically in trouble.
Any other questions? Yeah. Questions? No? Okay, so I guess this session, this is very intimate, but again, I hope that this helps you a lot already in working with your writings. And again, Turnitin is a tool, right? So we don't have to really rely on it's a tool actually to help us. But again, the tools that have been provided by Turnitin is a very helpful tool for us to to check our similarity index and at least to work more ethically when we're working with our papers, right? Any other questions? No questions? Again, at this point, probably we can have a very simple. Thank you, Dritan. Very simple activity. Are you ready? Yeah, this is just a quick activity. Let me check. Okay. Can you join the quiz? Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so this is the QR code. So try to scan. And again, we have some prizes at stake. Wow. Okay, so it's if you're familiar with Kahoot, it's like that, but it's a different thing in a sense that your questions will be at your mobile devices, and what you can see on the screen is the leaderboard. Okay. Does it work? Okay, we have I'm not sure if those who are on YouTube can join us. So again, if you are joining us, how many are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 probably. So we have 6. So how many? Okay, so we have, I'm not sure if people on YouTube are joining, but we have 6 here. Okay. Let me know if I can start. Maybe. Okay, 7, 8. I'm not sure if these are from. Yeah, we have from YouTube. We have Kamola from Uzbekistan. Hi, Kamola. Okay, so I think that's it. We can start. Okay, so again, questions will be at your mobile devices. On the leaderboard, it seems like Almas is taking the lead, and then Kamola from Tashkent is on the second place. Wait, okay. so based on our quiz, we have Almas, Madina, and Kamola. But Kamola is from Tashkent. Hi, Kamola. I'm not sure how can I send you this simple things that we have, but we have some giveaways. So may I call on Almas and then Madina, and I would Kamola, sorry. I would give this to Aigerim. Yeah. Yeah. Yay. Thank you for joining today, Almas. Yep. This is just a simple gift for you guys for attending. And again, before we close the session, I would probably ask for your simple assessment of this session. So this is a QR code, and we will be very much happy and glad if you can share us what you think with regards to our session. And again, thank you so much, Dritan, and those who are at the YouTube who are watching, and our professor here, Sir Jeffrey Carney, and we have also something for you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and again, thank you for joining us on this session. Please find time to evaluate the session, and I think that's it for now. The library is open during the stress relief week, and again, you can get in touch with us, your subject librarians, and we will try to help you out with your assignments. And again, if you have questions through to Dritan and to our professor, Mr. Jeffrey, then you can also get in touch with us, and then we can forward the questions to them. Okay, so I think that's it for today. Thank you so much. Thank you for attending. Bye for now.
Thank you.